When a young girl from the Fucha clan entered the Forbidden City, she was not yet an empress. She was the primary wife of Prince Hongli, the man who would later become the Qianlong Emperor. Unlike many imperial marriages arranged purely for politics, this one left a trace in the historical record that is really difficult to ignore. From the beginning, Fucha was described as restrained, composed, and deeply attentive, not only to palace matters, but to her husband himself. Court records and later memorial writings consistently emphasize her gentleness, emotional steadiness, and careful concern for others. These are traits usually not repeated unless they were widely observed. When Hongli ascended the throne in 1735, Fucha became empress, and with this title came visibility, pressure, and expectation. But also something rare in the Qing court, a marriage remembered with love and affection. Qianlong would later write that she was measured in speech, sincere in conduct, and considerate in all things. This was not flattery written during her life, it was written after her death. Empress Fucha's life as empress was marked less by rivalry and more by loss. She gave birth to multiple children, but tragedy followed her closely. Her first son, Yonglian, was deeply loved by both of his parents. He was intelligent, gentle, and quietly regarded as the possible heir to the dynasty. His death at such a young age struck the Qianlong Emperor hard, but it was Empress Fucha who carried the loss most visibly. Court records suggest that her health declined after this, and those closest to her noted a lasting sadness that never fully lifted. Her second son, Yongcong, also would die in infancy. 2 sons lost, one after the other, and a devastating reality, even by imperial standards, that something was never going to change. These were not abstract losses. These were children that she carried, gave birth to, and then buried. Her daughter, however, survived. Though far less documented than her sons, the survival of her daughter is indeed significant. It meant that not all of Empress Fucha's motherhood ended in grief. It also meant that part of her lived on beyond her own short life, something rare among imperial consorts whose children were often vanished from the record entirely. Still, the emotional toll of losing 2 sons was immense. Empress Fucha endured this quietly and without spectacle. There are no records of dramatic mourning displays, only a woman who continued to fulfill her role while carrying such personal sorrow. Contemporary accounts describe her as becoming quieter, physically weaker, and increasingly withdrawn. Unlike dramatized portrayals of palace women who weaponize grief, Fucha did the opposite. She internalized it, and her health started to decline steadily. In 1748, while accompanying the Qianlong Emperor on a southern inspection tour, Empress Fucha died suddenly at the age of just 36 years old. The location mattered. She didn't die in the palace surrounded by ritual formality, but away from the capital, a detail that deeply unsettled the emperor. Qianlong's reaction was extreme, even by Qing standards. He halted court activities, dismissed his officials that he had felt showed insufficient respect for the empress, and openly blamed himself for exhausting her with travel. His grief was public, prolonged, and unusually raw for an emperor expected to embody restraint. What makes Empress Fucha stand apart is not only how she lived, but it's how she was remembered. Qianlong continued to mourn for her for decades. He wrote poems about her long after her death, referenced her when criticizing later consorts, and preserved her living quarters without alteration. He never elevated another empress to the same emotional position that she had occupied. After her death, another woman would rise to the position of empress. She's known by the step empress Nara. Where Fucha's life was defined by quiet dignity, Nara's story would be marked by conflict, disgrace, and eventual erasure from the court histories. The contrast between them is striking and very intentional. It would shape the later years of Qianlong's reign. with later historians noticing something very telling. When Qianlong spoke of virtue, moderation, and harmony in the inner court, he almost always used Fuca as the silent comparison. She didn't dominate the palace through intrigue. She didn't leave behind any scandal or political upheaval. Her influence was quieter, and perhaps because of that, more enduring. Empress Fuca reminds us that not all power in the Forbidden City was loud or dramatic, as C-dramas today would make you believe. Some of it lived in marriage, grief, memory, and absence, and in the way an emperor chooses to remember one woman long after she was gone. So when we ask who truly shaped Qianlong's early reign, the answer might not be found in campaigns or monuments, but in the woman who stood beside him before history hardened him. What do you find most compelling about Empress Fuca's life? And which court stories are you most curious about next? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more quiet histories from the lives of the past, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, remember, the more you know.